Hi everybody, it's Dr. Magnifico from JRSFullVet.com. I am sitting outside with my two puppies, so that's Frippy and Storm, and then my other dog Charleston. We are out enjoying some time outside, and I wanted to kind of give you a couple of examples of how sometimes these days are so difficult. So this is my dog Charleston, who's upside down. He has a reflective collar, and then he's got an ID collar, and on the back of his ID collar it says Charleston. It has my phone number, and it says I am microchipped and my mommy loves me. All three of my dogs are rescues, and all three of them are microchipped, but still these two are puppies. And the other night my husband got home and let them out of the car, and they caught wind of something and went running off into the woods. They were gone for 4 hours. I was a wreck. We were both a wreck. They rarely ever take off. They rarely ever leave our sight, but something caught their nose and it was just too enticing for them, and they took off. And we were up until 1 o'clock in the morning trying to find them. At about 11 o'clock at night, so about 2 or 3 hours into them being gone, I looked at my husband after we had traveled the road, been outside, been in the gator, been calling, whistling for them, walking around for them. I just said, I really hope that they are comfortable and warm in somebody's kitchen, that one of our neighbors has picked them up and taken them home to keep them safe overnight, because the alternative was that they had been hit by a car and they were lying in a ditch on the side of the road, and that was just heartbreaking for me. They are microchipped, their info is up to date, they have collars on them, they keep reflective stuff on them, but things happen. They do. They happen. The hope is that if anything happens, they've got as many tools as they can have at their disposal to find their way home. We microchip here for $25. I do it at cost. I do it so that hopefully if anything ever does happen, that's the best way for them to find their way home. Last night, someone brought in a dog that was not microchipped. It was intact. The dog was in pretty rough shape. They couldn't take the dog home and keep it overnight. It was, of course, nighttime. So we kept the dog here last night, overnight, and we put a Facebook post up looking for its home, and it was shared many times over, and multiple people thought that it was their dog. There were 3 people who sent pictures saying, I think it's my dog. And then at 8 o'clock this morning, somebody showed up saying it was their dog. They had no proof of ownership. They were belligerent. They were demanding that we return their dog. And we couldn't do it. We couldn't in good faith hand over a dog that we were not confident was theirs. So we did what we always do, and what we say we're always going to do. We called animal control and gave it to them. Animal control here is part of the sheriff's department. So we handed it over to them, and they have the resources and the proper authority to reunite the correct dog with the correct person. What has happened since then? So over the last 5 hours has been a barrage of threatening phone calls, online slander, terrible reviews, and somebody trying to take out their inability to get their dog back because they still don't have proof of ownership on us. So I have to head down to the police department now to file a peace order so that the police can intervene on our behalf and stop the harassment that's going on. I've had the police here once already. I've called them twice already, and it will not stop. They are calling and threatening us and harassing us and blaming us for not returning their dog to them when they had no proof of ownership. It gets worse from there, but I'm going to spare you the rest of the details. So I say to myself that no good deed goes unpunished, and this is one of those times. We gave this dog a warm, safe place overnight. He was brought to the shelter. He's not been hit by a car. He's healthy. He was taken very good care of last night. We didn't charge anybody for that, and I never charge anybody for that. And instead of getting a thank you, I get this harassment. We've been called murderers because they said that the dog was going to be brought to the pound, and then the pound was going to euthanize their dog, and that made us murderers. They have called us unethical. They have said lots of terrible things about us, and this was all in us taking a dog who we couldn't find the owner last night because it wasn't microchipped. They don't have any current veterinary care for it, so they can't provide proof of ownership that way. And they don't even have a picture on their phone, which I find appalling. My phone has nothing but pictures of my pets. But this is the world that we live in. You do a good thing and then you pay for it afterwards because people want to get their way, and they will threaten and bully and intimidate you until you do. So I'm going down to the police department right now to get a peace order so that we can stop the harassment. It makes you really second guess what you do and why you do it. Why would I take a dog in? Why would I not just tell them to take it to the shelter and let the shelter deal with it? You know, we did what we could to help this dog, and then we're paying for it. And it's just, it's appalling. It's appalling that people treat you like this. I find it hard to believe that someone wouldn't just say thank you. Thank you for housing this dog, even if it's not their dog, even if it was their dog. Thank you for giving it a safe place. And I understand that I have to go through the proper channels to prove that this dog is mine, so that it doesn't go to somebody else and then fall into terrible hands, because that's what happens. And there are multiple people who think it's their dog. So what do you do? That is my plight and my plea for today. Please microchip your dogs. Please spay and neuter. Please keep them current on veterinary care. If any of those things had been done, this dog probably would have gotten back to its home already, instead of sitting in the shelter while people argue and debate and slander each other. Wish us luck. Thanks. Bye.